Hello, Angela here at Sew Bright Alpine Quilting, and welcome to our weekly update for the Boho Heart Sew Along. I hope you have started. If you haven't, there's still time, there's no pressure. It's just an ongoing project that we're working on and that we'll be sharing our progress with you. So last week we started and we were going to try and make 7 blocks, which we have. So you can see the 7 blocks here that we've made. So we've made 2 of Garden Vale. This one is the off-centered Dresden. This one was called Wind Blown. This one is the Courthouse Steps, a fancy pinwheel, and this one is called Intersection. So that was all of the 10.5-inch blocks. So they are all done now. Steve's going to give you a little close-up while I check that the live video is coming up on the laptop. Just say hello if you can see the see us on your screens, or type in a message. Let us know you're here. Why is it not doing that? For some reason it's not showing up on here, but that's all right. Steve might have to let me know if we get any comments. Oh, here we go. All right, so just press play on that and then that will go along. So the next lot of blocks will be the 8-inch finished blocks, so they're 8.5-inch blocks. And the first lot are more courthouse steps, so we have to make 4 courthouse steps. And then there is the sawtooth, make 2 of those, and 1 small framed Dresden. So that would be our 7 blocks for this week. So I've cut out, before I do that, I'll just share some of the tips that I posted in the step outs on the group. So with the Garden Vale, don't forget to use your quarter-plus ruler when you're cutting out your half-square triangles. And I also used it for trimming the back of this little block here when you sew the triangle, sew the square on the side and then cut the excess off. So that was one tip there. And I always lay out my block and try and keep it laid out next to the sewing machine. If Steve just wants to pass me that little design block. Thank you, darling. So I have my block that I'm about to sew laid out on this little portable design board. So this is just a piece of the bag wadding that I've cut, and it's about 12 inches, 12.5 inches, I think. Yeah, about 12 inches, 12.5 inches. But it's just a good size to carry with you, and leave it next to the sewing machine. And as you sew each piece, you can pop it back on the design mat, and then you can take the whole lot over to the ironing board, press each piece, and then put it back where it's got to go in the design. So this is the first one that we've done. So I've tried to maintain the similar colourways to what has been done in the book, as far as, you know, reds in certain spots or blues, whatever, but trying to keep it cool and just working with the bundle that I have. So in this one here, you can see that we used a lighter fabric, gives it a completely different look. Don't the cave fabrics just sew up beautifully? This one with the Dresden, just be careful when you're sewing your Dresdens that you are sewing an accurate 1/4-inch seam, because otherwise you might end up with a bobble in the middle and it won't lay flat. So I had to be really careful with that one. And I think I shared with you last week my tip for cutting out with the template plastic. Just find a little bit. Not sure where it is. But to use another ruler up against your template plastic instead of trying to put a ruler over the top of the template plastic, if that makes sense. So you put the ruler up against, so imagine this is our template, just for imagination's sake, and we want to cut this line here. If we put the the ruler up against the template, and then we slide that one away and we can cut here. And then that makes sure that we don't cut through our template if we're using the thinner template plastic, which is what most of us would use, or even if you're using the paper template, you haven't got any template plastic. And because if we put the ruler on top of the template, sometimes that can move and we end up cutting into the template. And when you've got to cut multiple, you want them all to be the exact same size. So that's my tip with that one. Also, just be careful when you're trimming this one. So this one has an offset center. I did do another one. The first one I did, the center ended up in the middle. So that's going to become one of the smaller Dresdens in a later block. Okay, the windblown, same thing, lots of half square triangles there. So make sure you're using a tool to draw the line either side of the center. With this one here, in the book, it has 4 of the same fabric in the center block here, and I wanted to highlight the center block with just one piece of fabric without having any join in there. So I worked out what size square I needed to cut, and what I did, because it was, I think it was 3 inches and 5/16, what I've done is I've put some sticky tape on my 6-inch square ruler. So I've put sticky tape on either side of the corners and down in the other corner, and just used a Sharpie to mark where 5/16 is. And so then you can just place it on the fabric. So if we imagine that we're using this one here, so you can just place it down on the fabric and you can work out where you're going to cut, and then you can fussy cut that center. So if we wanted that center of that flower to be in the block, we could just pop the ruler down, work out where our center is, and cut that out. It went together pretty easily, that one. Courthouse steps, well, there's not a lot, oh, excuse me. There's not a lot of tips I can say with this one, apart from, again, exact 1/4 inch seams are useful in this one, and I just checked the squareness of it after each round. So just pop your ruler over the top and make sure that each round is square, and trim off any excess as you go so that you don't end up with a wonky block. This does look a little wonky, but it's more to do with the wonkiness of the stripe and the other pattern that makes it look wonky, and the design wall here is not exactly flat. So this one here was the fancy pinwheel. I think on theirs they had a lighter colour here, but I quite liked the way that this blue dip dot, or I think it's blueberry this dot, went with this little pattern. And even though I did lay it out, I didn't see that I had two black bits right next to each other. If I'd seen it, I probably would have put them over there so they were diagonally opposite each other. But that's okay. In the whole grand scheme of things, you're not really going to notice it. So that all went together quite easily. But again, 1/4 inch. And the intersections one, it's quite a graphic one with the stripes. So just the 2 fabrics. And so you make a long piece with your 3 fabrics there, and then you cut them up, cut your squares, and then make your little 9 patch in the corner there. That one went together pretty easily as well. So as I said, we're going to start off with our 4 courthouse step blocks this week. And we've got them sitting there. So I've cut all of those out. And if you look at the designs in the book, some of them have different fabrics going around. So one of them has the same fabrics on this side and this side. No, sorry, same fabrics here 2 different fabrics, but then same here and same here to make it look a bit more like a log cabin, and then going with the same on the other side. So it just depends on what you could do them all the same as this. It's, you know, it's entirely up to you, but the principle is the same. It goes together with when you're sewing the courthouse. You would generally sew the 2 shorter pieces and then the 2 longer pieces, where if you're sewing a log cabin, you would sew one to the side and then you would sew the next one on the top, and then the next one would be this long, and then the next one would be that long. So just slightly different the way that the pieces are cut out. Hi Gladys, how are you? Have you got any blocks started yet? I see that you've liked all of the ones that we've posted. So this one here, we are going to have this green in the centre. And this one has the 3 fabrics, and it's going to be the same 3 fabrics going around each round. So that one's going to have that one, and then it'll have the pink going all the way around like this way. If I can get it to sit. So it'll have that pink going all the way around, and then this stripe going all the way around, and then this beautiful iris flower going all the way around. And then we've got, this is the cool colourway. So that's very warm. So then I've done a cool colourway. So this one also has them going all the way around. So this is going to have the black and white going around. That one will be quite graphic. And then this beautiful lavenders and teals in the chrysanthemum, and this beautiful fuchsia pink dip dot. And then this one here, this one is the way we're going to, the one that's going to get set out a bit like a log cabin. So there's a few different fabrics in that one. So the centre is, I don't want to get them out of order, so if you just want to have a look here, Steve. So the centre will be that red flower, and then half of the first round will be this teal, and then half of the outside middle round will be this chrysanthemum, and then half of the outside round will be that blueberry again, and then on the other side half of it will be yellow, the next half will be this beautiful tealy and pink, and then we'll have another this round on the outside other half with the beautiful reds and the dark ones as well. So I think that one's going to look pretty specky. So as I do the blocks, I will post them in the group and share any tips or tricks or problems that I had with the block. And I urge you to do the same. So if you've got any dramas, just send us a message, and feel free to post your blocks in the group. I'd really love to see how you're going. So stay in touch. Let us know how you're going, and we'll see you again next week at 2 o'clock, but have the photos in the group in between. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.